minutes instead. We can reposition. It all depends on how far back you want the bench to go, is the deal, because that wheel is basically how it comes along to the end. I guess it's about time.
The First Unitarian Church of Toledo. I'm Joe Ryan, and this morning's worship associate. We are glad that you chose to be with us this morning.
And today, on our minds, in our hearts, and with our spirits, there are people in our circles who have challenges of health or illness, from minor inconveniences to terminal diagnoses. May we be compassionate to all, as we don't know what other people are going through. There are also new lives born and many other joys and celebrations. We struggle over not only health, but general welfare, including finances, work and rest, time for self and time for others. Remember that every person has inherent worth and dignity, and treat others as you would be treated. Follow the golden rule. We also are thinking of COVID-19. On March 8th, 3 years ago, we had our final in-person service here in the sanctuary before making the pragmatic move of meeting online only, while the virus caused, according to statistics from yesterday, 1,520 deaths in Lucas County, 41,875 in Ohio, 1,129,424 in the United States, and 6,876,591 deaths worldwide. We resumed our in-person services on November 21st, 2021, 89 weeks after our shutdown, more than a year and a half. We're fortunate that, though long-term complications from COVID-19 have affected members of our congregation, and people are still being diagnosed with new cases of COVID-19, we have largely remained healthy, in part thanks to being vaccinated. If you have not been vaccinated, or if you have, you don't yet have a booster, please go and get an injection that could save your life. We also have on our minds and our hearts with our spirits the fact that there is war in our world. There is disaster by nature and disaster caused by humans. That inequality, inequity, and racism are in our societies, and we can do our own parts not to oppress, to celebrate many cultures, to grow in self and universally. One reason we join in religious gatherings is to realize common links. The uncommon is here too. Let's be together in faith, hope, and love. And I want to say I'm Reverend Tim Barger. I'm the senior minister of this congregation. And this morning I heard the woodpecker that appears every spring in my neighborhood. And then I came here and heard bird calls. So I'm expecting to see jonquils push up through the earth any time now. I'm ready for spring. Are you?
I share this morning these opening words by John C. Mormon. We gather here to seek unity of spirit. We gather here to seek unity of spirit in the midst of adversity, to heal the wounded and confront the oppressor, to instill joy and confidence in our children, to grow in mind, body, and spirit ourselves, and to bear witness to the transforming power of love, beyond which not a single atom nor soul is lost forever. Thus do we covenant with each other in the presence of that which is holy.
And as Joe lights our chalice, which is one of the symbols of Unitarian Universalism, I'll read these words for chalice lighting, the symbol of our shared faith by Paul Stephen Dodenhoff. Joy and grief, health and sickness, light and darkness, peace and anger, life and death, wholeness and brokenness. We each bring all of these here to this sanctuary of unity in diversity for this 1 hour of this one day, and pour them out, commingling the oil of our lives to become the flame of this chalice, the symbol of our shared living faith. And if you'll join me in reciting the covenant of this congregation, love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening hymn is number 105 in the gray hymnal, and I expect we'll have the lyrics on the screen as well, though we got ahead of the screen for our covenant today. This is number 105, From Age to Age. Please stand as you're willing and able.
Above the passing centuries, like beacon lights they shine, like beacon lights they shine. We witness to one heritage, one spirit's quickening breath, one mighty faithful taste to reach of freedom and of faith, of freedom and of faith. Where thinking power our souls confess, good ethics speak today. Our brave thought of witnesses encompassing our way, encompassing our way. Through every race and every God.
Do you have your unit on?
Who knows what we have here?
Wonderful.
Everybody say ooh.
Ooh. Ah.
Ah. Who wants to open a wonder box and tell everybody what's inside? Sawyer's on it. What do you see in there? Paper clips on pieces of paper and markers. Thank you, Sawyer. If you, Sawyer, would take these pieces of paper and hand one to each person on the end of the rows here, one whole pack of the paper to each person. And if I could have Jenny, who has kindly volunteered to be my second helper today, if Jenny could come forward. I guess Jenny couldn't make it today. Would anybody else like to volunteer to hand out markers?
Ooh.
Scarlett can do it. Thank you, Scarlett. Just give a handful to the people on the end of each row and they can pass them down, okay? Okay, start with the kids. And then just hand a bunch of markers to the person on the end of each row, okay? Yes, thank you. Today, we are going to play a communication game. And you might have played this game during the pandemic. It can be called community drawing or cooperation drawing or blind drawing. Everybody gets a piece of paper and some markers, and feel free to play along. If you do not wish to play along, you don't have to, that's fine. And if everybody at home is interested in playing, you are free to play as well. Just grab a writing implement and a piece of paper. Reverend Tim is going to describe a picture that he's looking at. You follow his descriptions as best you can. And at the end, Walter will show us the picture that Reverend Tim has described, and we'll see how everybody did at getting it copied. This game demonstrates how, even when we think we are being perfectly clear in our communications, other people bring their own interpretations to what we say. Sometimes there's an excellent meeting of the minds. Sometimes there is not. Even when you have a group of people like us, people who choose to spend time together and people who might know each other very well, it doesn't always work perfectly. It's right and healthy for us to have a sense of humor about it, to extend grace to each other, and when the stakes are higher, to be willing to forgive. Reverend Tim has not seen this image yet. Are we ready? Does everybody have pencil and paper? Okay, paper's on its way around.
No pencil.
You ready, Reverend Tim?
No paper.
Well, let's let Sawyer make the rest of the way up. He's almost done. And let me just say that my wife, Jewel, can tell you that although I have a lot of training and education in communications, my descriptive skills are sorely lacking.
We'll see about that. Are you ready?
Okay. What I would like you to do is to draw a big curve at the top, kind of like if you were drawing a rainbow, but you're not drawing a rainbow. And a few inches below that, draw another curve to match the one at the top, not quite as long as the other one. Join those two ends together with the top and the bottom one. And you know what? draw another curve below that, just like a little bit of space below that. And join that one to the curve above. Now with those three curves, at the bottom, draw an upside down rainbow. So
No gestures.
no gestures. Okay, you've got that upside down line meeting it. And now what I want you to do with that next to the top rainbow, that next to the top line, is draw three triangles with the point at the top, left, middle, and right. Draw three triangles from that lower, that the second rainbow, the second line from the top, the second curve. Draw three triangles with that as the base and the point at the top, about at the top of that top curve. I have said that a couple of times. And then, you know what? Put little ornamental circles on top of those three triangle points. And you might put some ornamental illustration like another circle or an octagon or any type of thing in the middle of those three triangles too. And now you've got that lower curve of the two lines. Put 5 illustrations there, little circles or triangles or whatever you want to be kind of an ornament for those. And you know what? That describes all the parts, but I don't know if they can get it into their heads what it is.
Is everybody finished? Walter, what do we got? Did anybody get anything close? Is anybody really proud of their? All right. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay. All right. Feel free to leave your supplies in the pews and I will pick them up after service. If you would like to leave your drawings, do that and I will grab those after service too and put them on our religious education bulletin board so we can take a look at all of our interpretations. Thank you for playing.
And the gestures are what made it work.
Trees are green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and stars of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They're much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah.
Thank you to our revitalized choir, our new music director, Jeffrey Allen Maxey, and with accompaniment by a new member, Randy Ritchie. Thanks so much. And now please join me for a time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer, adding to the words that I spoke at the beginning of the service, what was on our minds, in our hearts, with our spirit. I have this reading, Great Unity Beyond All Differences by Andrew M. Hill. Out of a troubled world of expediency and selfish strife, we come to this place set apart for the renewal of vision. Great unity beyond all differences. Should our lives be narrowed by personal sorrow or tragedy, envision us with a sense of worth. Should we be weary of the diminishing purposes of community and the persistence of global conflicts, envision us with your larger purpose. Should we feel lost upon Earth's lonely cosmic shore, envision us with joy and wonder. Uphold us when weak, embrace us when broken, transform us when partial. Restore us to your great unity, that we and the green earth and the cosmic law may become as one. Great unity, bless us now in this moment of worship with your commanding vision. Amen. And let's observe 1 minute of silence, just hearing the sounds around us. Yes. And let's hear Spirit of truth, of life, of power.
teachings during this Lenten series on spirit and musical. This morning we have the second verse of Spirit of Truth, which starts Spirit of Unity. For a time, Spirit of Truth was sung every Sunday in our congregation as a procession. The lyrics are by our own former minister, Gwendolyn Valdemar Beelan Argo.
Pledge our lives to liberty service, to the ideal of a world made one.
Spirit of Unity. That's an adaptation I made to Wally Argo's words so that the lyrics would be a better fit with today's inclusive terminology. What his hymn had was spirit of brotherhood. His spirit of brotherhood, of unity, was the ideal of a world made one by our serving humanity. Merriam-Webster hasn't yet caught up, as in their dictionary, brotherhood can mean fellowship, alliance, and not be gendered, but all of the sisterhood definitions are women-centered. And better for poetic construction, I think, to use unity rather than siblinghood, as our concept is larger than offspring. Unity isn't a parental spirit, but something we all make. Unity can mean oneness and accord, so it's close to Argo's term, but I'd say more inclusive than the brotherhood definition. I ask you to keep the spirit of unity in your life, that we can live for others and have an objective of oneness in global community. And by doing that, we can be better ourselves, especially in this season of Lent observed by many Christians. You too, recognizing the Christian heritage of Unitarian Universalism and the expansion of faith coming from the Transcendentalists and others to make this a continually seeking way, you might examine your individual aspect of the spirit of unity. The spirit of unity gets to the concept of Ubuntu. That word scans well, so we could have tried spirit of Ubuntu rather than spirit of unity, but Ubuntu is still coming into general knowledge, so I went with unity. I've spoken about Ubuntu before, but I don't expect many to remember that. And using unity kind of gets to that old joke about Unitarian Universalists reading ahead in hymn lyrics to sing them only if they agree with them. And I don't want everybody to shut up just because a word like Ubuntu is unfamiliar. Ubuntu is important, and I hope it comes into more general use. The meaning of this African concept, by way of Wikipedia, is I am because you are. Ubuntu asserts that society gives human beings their humanity, that Wikipedia entry says. Let me tell you about Ubuntu from another pretty recent source. My wife, Jewel, and I watched a documentary this past week on Netflix, Mission Joy, Finding Happiness in Troubled Times. It covers a week-long visit that Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa, an Anglican, made to Dharamsala, India in 2015 to see the Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism. Both were in their 80s, and they had become friends and took that opportunity to spend extended time together. Of course, there was a film crew, and the two holy leaders, who also both were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, spoke of joy and of their own relationship that had a lot of teasing and fun rather than somber presence. Besides this film, that visit also produced a book crediting them as co-authors, The Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World. In one scene in the film, Archbishop Tutu said, "There's a concept that we have in South Africa, the concept of Ubuntu, where it says a person is a person through other persons. I mean, I could not speak as I'm speaking without having learned it from other human beings. I could not think as a human being except through learning it from other human beings. We belong in this delicate network. People just give and give because that's actually who we really are." The Dalai Lama responds, "Yes, agree. Basic human nature is goodness. There are very sad things, very negative things, but at the same time, there are much more positive things. Then okay, feel." Tutu adds, "Yes, it's how we are made. We're wired to be compassionate. We are wired to be caring for the other. If you live out Ubuntu," Ubuntu says, "we can be human only together." They close that conversation with a demonstration of what multi-faith respect can be. The Dalai Lama says to the Archbishop, "At the time of my death, I will remember you." Tutu replies, "Thank you." And the Dalai Lama continues, "So perhaps according to your sort of tradition, we may meet in heaven in the presence of God. You, as a Christian good practitioner, you go first," he teases. "You may be, so to say, helping me bring together." Tutu again answers, "Thank you." The Dalai Lama then says, "And from the Buddhist viewpoint, once you see develop some special sort of close connections, then that sort of impact will carry life after life." Two people of different religious groundings can talk about their different beliefs and place themselves as they are within the faith system of the other, with joy, the point of their conversations. That's not just Ubuntu, a kind of putting on the other's shoes in this exchange, but a way of unity and growing together by recognizing separate paths, isn't it? Archbishop Tutu died in 2021 at age 90, and the Dalai Lama is now 87. The world is better because both of them were in it. By the way, if you Google Ubuntu Unity, what your search gives you is a link to computer software. Ubuntu Unity is a remix of Ubuntu featuring the Unity 7 desktop environment, the default desktop environment used by Ubuntu from 2010 to 2017, we learned. Let's not follow that tangent, okay? But that reference does remind us that unity is not always easy, is it? At times, we can't find the unity we seek. And even not often easy. Getting along with people can be hard. And sometimes we have to bend and twist in order to acknowledge a person's inherent dignity and worth, don't we? You know that Archbishop Tutu and the Dalai Lama have been through difficult times with others, such as Tutu chairing the South Africa Truth and Reconciliation Commission after the fall of apartheid, and the Dalai Lama's mere existence an irritant to the conquest plans of China over Tibet, which the Dalai Lama had to flee for exile as a refugee when he was 23. Yet they managed to find joy and recognize that Ubuntu is what makes us human. And it's very clear that they have served humanity well and shown there can be oneness and accord. Unity might not be what we would choose for our own comfort. Why be in the world when we can star in our own life story, complete with isolating earbuds playing our triumphant soundtrack? Because that can only go so far. We must interact. And we're driven in a way, not just for interaction, but for relationship. It can't be we and them. We humans aren't wired for separation. Even in war, the lines of separation aren't clear. And for many, the guilt of participating is traumatically devastating. But the spirit of unity, is that an opposite of war? Can feel good, can be good. And I think we are wired to serve humanity. We have plenty of opportunities for skepticism and to criticize. Let's look for relief by joining together, receiving and generating a spirit of unity. There is way too much real conflict still, and we need, in a way, to model the spirit of unity. People will still be wrong. Some large movements, such as in politics, can be no good and not deserving of compromise. But let's still look for opportunities of unity. There is a sense of team spirit gone extreme when we see the current state of Republicans and Democrats in governance, wondering where allegiances lie, with people choosing not even principle, but concept over people. Ubuntu might be the practice to get a unity groove. It seemed to work in South Africa when truth and reconciliation were needed. And we can still play at conflict, making rivalries minor differences, points for amusement, knowing that it shouldn't change the world. Buckeyes and Wolverines and Spartans, Guardians and Tigers, Rockets and Falcons can coexist, can posture separation, but recognize that games put people together. Spirit of unity can happen with team spirit, can't it? You can have the spirit of unity and retain your sense of self. We're all individual, and that makes unity all the more wondrous. Get the Spirit, be the Spirit, move the Spirit, have Ubuntu, treasure unity, and with all humanity, build the world we need. So be it.
We now come to the offering portion of our service, where we ask that you contribute to the ongoing support of this church, both within these walls and the larger community. There are many ways that you can do this, and in a minute, maybe there's a screen you can see. You can go to uutoledo.org, click on Give, and then click on Online Giving. You could also reach us through our address here at First Unitarian Church, 3205 Glendale Ave, Toledo, 43614. You will notice that in your pen rack in front of you, there are envelopes with giving options. And then as you leave this sanctuary, there are baskets at the rear where envelopes or loose change can be also put. We greatly appreciate all the support you give for this church and its mission. Thank you.
And our offertory hymn is number 114, Forward Through the Ages. Please stand again if you're willing.
It is the coming soon portion of our weekly service. Please check our UUFYI publication, emailed and posted on our private Facebook group for announcements of what is coming in the upcoming week. And I want to make a special plea to you. If you're interested in being a delegate at our congregation for the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly to be held on June 21 through 25 in Pittsburgh, please contact our board president, Sandra Cossack-Sills, or Reverend Tim. We have 3 slots for delegates, but we hope many more will make the relatively short trip to experience the national aspect of Unitarian Universalism. It will also be an important General Assembly with a vote on a revision to what we currently refer to as our principles and sources.
And next Sunday at 9:45 a.m. here, our spiritual forum in Fellowship Hall will feature Phil Teitelbaum giving a Unitarian Universalist history presentation. And if things go right, he'll be giving us, including some PowerPoint visuals on a new television that is going to go in there. Rather than a projector screen, we're putting up a big TV. So let's look for that. And if you want me, whenever you come here, I'll probably just be hanging out watching TV all day, every day. Then next Sunday at 11 a.m., our service will continue this series on Spirit with Spirit of Love.
And I want to remind those who know and may not know, immediately after the service is our coffee hour and social time. So please join us. It's straight down the hall in Fellowship Hall, and we're anxious to meet you and answer any questions you might have and get to know each other better. I now have these closing words by Big Stevie Wonder. I think probably now. What I'm not confused about is the world needing much more love, no hate, no prejudice, no bigotry, more unity, peace, and understanding, period.
Following the concept of Ubuntu, we make this a community flame. May everyone know that they are themselves because of other people. And may the Unitarian Universalist spirit of unity spread oneness and accord all over the world. As Reverend Argo's hymn stated, we pledge our lives to humanity's service, to the ideal of a world made one.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. We don't need when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Though it won't be long, I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Go in peace and have a great day on this beautiful day. Exactly. here? No, you don't have to. No, you can leave those up here.